All right. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. We're happy to welcome back Kurt Lewis. Kurt is continuing his school marketing webinar series on behalf of the Precita Project. If you have any questions during the presentation, please write them in the chat box below. Webinar slides and the recording will be sent out in the coming days. With that being said, Kurt, take it away.
All right, thanks very much. Thank you, Brian, and thank you all for joining today. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about summertime marketing, but I realized today I wanted to start, I couldn't really go forward without acknowledging the things that happened yesterday in Texas and how incredibly difficult that has been. I know it's been on my mind. I'm sure it's been on yours too. So I wanted to start with that. First of all, thank you for being here. I know that you have a lot going on right now, to say nothing else of the fact that it is the end of the school year, and this is always a crazy time of year, and you are heavily engaged right now. The fact that you're taking any time to be with me today is a real blessing, and I really appreciate that. But I also want to thank you for being there where you are, because I know anyone who works in a school, when something like this happens, has a lot of emotions, and whether it's anger or sadness, grief, confusion, many different things, you often have to put those aside so that you can serve the students and faculty with whom you work and help them process these things. So I know how incredibly difficult this time is. And again, I just genuinely appreciate you being here and being there where you are. You have a lot of people to take care of, and I'm very blessed to know and fortunate and happy to know that you are there. So that being said, we will do as we always do. We will take a deep breath and we will move forward. Despite all of that, I am very happy to be here today. I believe more than ever in Catholic school marketing and in Catholic schools and what they're doing, particularly in light of things like this. I believe that we offer the best and safest option for students. So that's why we're here today, is to talk about how to get more kids into these fantastic schools that you guys all have. For those of you who don't know me, this is a little bit of information on me. Basically, it just says, I've been doing this for a while. I know what I'm doing. But if you'd like to know more, you can visit kurtthemarketer.com and you can find out all about me and my history within Catholic schools and Catholic school marketing. As Brian mentioned, following this presentation, the Precita Project will send out the video, a link to the video and the slides themselves, and any resources that I mentioned during the presentation today. I will mention quite a few things. Most of them you'll probably want to contact me directly for. Some of them might be in the digital resource library that I mentioned. But if you want something customized, if you want to talk to me about something specific, that would be terrific. Feel free to reach out. And my email address is kurtthemarketer@gmail.com. And I can do things like personalized jumpstart meetings, additional resources, all sorts of things, but mainly just general support and cheerleading. I'm here for you. I'd love to talk to you about what's going on in your school. So let's get into it. Beat the summertime blues, continuing the enrollment push once school is out. Summertime is a tricky time, particularly for school marketers, because it seems very long and yet it goes by very quickly, as any kid would tell you. But particularly when you're looking for kids to fill seats at your school, the summer flies. So there are a lot of things you can do before summer starts, then during the summer, to make sure that you're on good footing to get as many students as you want in your school for next year. So before the end of the year, we're going to talk about that first. What can we do? Now, some of you have only days left. Some of you on this call are probably already done with school. And some of you are in areas where you have school for another couple of weeks. So sorry for you out there, but there are some things you can still do if school has not ended yet, if you've not had your graduation yet. So we'll talk about all of that. First things, most important, and it's the most important part of any Catholic school marketing plan. And that, of course, is retention. It's the thing that we pay the least literal attention to, but it is the most important. You already have hundreds of kids who've chosen your school, hundreds of families in there. We want to make sure we keep every single one of them. So we want to pay as much attention to retention, if not more, than we do to new student enrollment. So before the end of the school year, you're going to want to lock in as many returning families as possible. You have to think of your parents as differentiated learners, just like your students. It takes a lot of different ways to reach them, and you have to put those different ways out there. So what are those ways we can reach them? You can use your all-call system, mass email service, and good old-fashioned direct outreach to ensure that families are registered. Hopefully at this point, the bulk of your families have registered again for the school year. Now, we know that there is every kind of school out there. Some of you started enrollment back in December and you were full by January for the coming school year. That is wonderful. Quite a few of you, though, are on the opposite end of that spectrum where your school is not going to be full. You're not going to have all your family signed up until the day before school starts, maybe even the day of. You'll have people coming in for the first few weeks after school starts, and that's totally fine. But what we want to do is start creating this culture and expectation as the years go by that we want families to sign up as early as possible to get them locked in. There's no reason that you should spend your summer chasing your own families. You want to be chasing brand new families over the summertime. So you want to get as many as you can locked in now. Use all of your communication methods to reach out to them. But most importantly, walk right up, ask them if they're coming back. Just say, I need a commitment, I need a form, I need whatever it is for your registration so that I know that you're going to be here and I don't give your seat away to someone else because seats are going fast. We got to make sure that you're signed up. If you offer a referral incentive, and I highly recommend that you do, if you don't offer a referral incentive, please talk to me. I'd love to talk you into offering one. But if you offer a referral incentive, remind families of this as often as possible. It is an incredibly strong tool and your families will absolutely love it. Also take time right now to thank your school families. A lot of us don't really do a great job of this, to formally thank the families because they are making a commitment every year and they have to make this decision every single school year to say, we have a lot of different things that we're spending our money on as a family. Is this worth it? And if we are thanking them, if we are acknowledging that this is a sacrifice, that this is something that they've done, and it's the best decision they can make, that makes them want to come back over and over again. So please be sure to thank your school families. A great way to do this is a state of the school letter. That's what I typically call it. It is a way to wrap up your school year. And I'm going to show you in a minute kind of a bit of what a state of the school letter looks like. But it's a way of sharing your successes and then also reminding them again of that referral incentive. Excuse me. And also be sure before they leave your school building, before you see your families for the last time, that they have the materials that they need to make referrals throughout the summer. And that's whether or not you have a referral incentive. Make sure that your families are armed with the things that they need to go out and talk to people about your school. They're going to spend the whole summer at t-ball practice and soccer practice and chess club and swim team and any number of different things, sitting around with a whole bunch of other parents and having conversations. They can bring up their school in such a natural way if they have the right material. And I'm going to tell you what the right material is. It is a referral card. My goodness, do I love referral cards. I have stopped recommending brochures. I've stopped recommending flyers or handouts or anything like that. These cards are what you need, particularly because if you look at the back of my St. Anonymous school card, it has a QR on it. And that QR takes them to the website, and I spent a lot of time on the website. If I put everything that is great about my school on the website and it is perfect, it is as good as I want it to be, why would I give them anything else? Anything else like a flyer or a brochure just dilutes that message. Plus, they're not evergreen. A brochure will expire over time. Those kids will graduate, the information will change, then you have to scrap all the old ones and bring in new ones. This card doesn't expire. That link stays the same to your homepage or whatever landing page you guide them toward, and they are wonderful. Plus, on the front of it, you can put that referred by line. So if you have a referral incentive, parents hand this card out, they write referred by, and then they get that referral incentive when that family comes in with that card. This is super duper simple. I can create these cards with you or for you, and that's something I'm happy to do for anybody attending this training. If you want these cards, let me know. I should let you know though, I'm going out of town for a couple of weeks starting tomorrow. So if you have a request, today is the day to make it. I can hopefully make a few things for schools tomorrow morning. So whether that's these cards or the letters I'm about to talk about, but I can help you out with those. Otherwise, you'll need to wait until about June 8th, and then I'll be able to help you with any of those. But I should mention about these cards too. One of the main reasons they work is because they are small. A parent can keep these in a wallet, in a purse, in the dash of their car, in a pocket. Very simple. They're not going to carry around a stack of flyers. And you don't have that awkward moment of handing someone a flyer and having them go, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to read through this. I'm definitely going to go through this whole trifold brochure, even though it's way too many words. No, give them the card, tell them to check it out when they have time. It's the simplest thing in the world. The next thing is the state of the school letter, or as I call it, the good news, better newsletter. And I'm happy to format one of these for you. I can put your school's logo on it and a little bit of information. You can edit it from there. It's very simple. But this letter goes through the good news first. And that's where you take the real achievement happening in your school For example, your test scores. So recently all the schools got test scores back. Dig through that to find the good news, find the information that parents want. So for example, here it says on the ACT Aspire test, the percentage of students who scored ready or exceeds in reading increased by almost 5% this year. That's wonderful. The rest of that paragraph above it, though, talks about all the great things that happened this year. Our cheerleaders went to state, our chess club won the championship. We had more kids than ever join our robotics club. Whatever it might be, this is a great time to talk about all the wonderful things that are happening at your school, and our achievement is improving. We have kids who are achieving more and more every year, and that's what we want. We're not trying to make our kids perfect. We're trying to make them better than they were yesterday. Then right below that, you say, hey, we've got a great school. You should bring more kids to it. So let's talk about a referral incentive. If you have not heard about it before, and you should have heard about it before, you're now hearing about it in this letter. Here's a reminder that if you bring a kid to our school, we're going to knock $500 off your tuition, or we're going to waive your registration fee, or we're going to give you a free uniform. Whatever the case, you need to remind them over and over again. And I'll talk a little bit later about pushing those referrals as we get to the end of the school year. At graduation, this is a cool opportunity. If you have not already had your graduation, if your graduation is coming up, this would still be very short notice to make some of these things happen, but it is worth it. Even if you've already had graduation, you can still kind of work in some of these things. So the first thing you want to do at graduation is also celebrate alumni. Bring back students who have graduated in the last few years, or even the last 10 years, or even the last 20 years. Bring back alumni who have gone on to great high schools, great colleges, and great careers. That shows your current students the potential that they have, the things that are out there for them, the things that they can do in this world. And it shows your parents a literal, just kind of, here's the illustration of what is ahead for your student. And we get to celebrate those alums, which is always a fun thing to do. It can also help us set up our development campaigns down the road. But more than anything, we want to celebrate the consistent success of this school over time. So make a point of bringing back alumni, and your students will learn that they need to come back as well. So you're going to make that invitation as well to those graduating 8th graders or seniors, whomever it might be, to visit the school in the fall. Come back. Tell us how things are going at your new school or in your new career, wherever you are. Come back and visit us. You always have a home here. That is such an important message. Plus the fact that a decade down the road, your students now are going to be parents. And hopefully they're going to choose your school again then. If they had a great experience, if they've been invited back time and time again, they're going to want to bring their kids to your school too. That's how we create an incredible legacy program over years and years of work. During the summer, it's also great to send a card home to your graduates at the beginning of the school year or just before the school year, wishing them luck in high school. It's just a nice gesture. If we can take that time during the summertime, write out a couple of quick notes that just says, hey, it was a pleasure having you here. I know you're going to do great in high school. Best of luck. That is also always a beautiful thing to do. A quick reminder that a lot of schools miss out on, surprisingly. Don't forget the dads. As it happens, Father's Day typically happens, it falls after the school year ends. So a lot of dads don't get quite the amount of celebration that moms do. So some ideas for that: make sure to thank your dads via email, your website, Facebook, or bulletin, even your church bulletin, on or before Father's Day weekend. So try to give them the same kind of treatment that moms would get. Make sure that they get the same level of attention if you can. And if time allows, before the end of the school year, have students make something just like they would on Mother's Day. So we always send home a bunch of gifts and crafts and things like that for moms on Mother's Day. Dads should have that same pleasure of having this random creation by their student brought home to them to make them smile and to show them that we appreciate them and that their kids appreciate them. So don't forget about the dads. Now we're going to talk about parent ambassadors. We're going to talk about parent ambassadors a lot today. If you haven't heard about parent ambassadors before, this is just a fancy way of talking about parent volunteers, but there is a formal parent ambassador program that I'd be happy to tell you more about if you'd like. You can reach out to me. I've got a whole training session on it, and it is really well worth it. It is the primary way that schools that I'm working with are getting families going forward, is this parent ambassador program. It is more than just an informal group of volunteers. It is a formal group of volunteers. The best part of it is the first ones are hand selected. You pick them, you pick the group you want, and you make it work. So before the end of the year, start engaging parent ambassadors, or if you don't have an ambassador program yet, just start engaging parent volunteers. You want to make sure that people are ready to help you throughout the summertime. The first thing I always say to a school when I start working with them on their marketing efforts, it's almost always the principal who brings me in. And the first thing I tell them is, it can't be you. You cannot be the one marketing this school. A principal's job is far too important. And if a principal does their job well, if they are the academic leader, if they're putting out an amazing product and everyone is following their lead, that is excellent marketing. People want to go to a school like that. It cannot therefore be on the principal also to do all the marketing work, to do the social media, to work on the website, to put out all of these cards and things. It has to be on someone else. So a lot of schools do that by hiring a marketer, hiring a part-time marketer, getting an intern, having parent volunteers, having high school volunteers, having college volunteers. There are a bunch of different ways to do it, from very free to rather expensive, and it is worth it. Whatever time and money you put into that is well worth it. That's an investment in your school. So you want to line up these parent ambassadors first and foremost so that no one in your office is alone trying to do this marketing work by themselves during the summer. Try to establish a calendar of when some of your key parents will be available. If there are some parents who you know are going to make a big difference for you, find out their summer schedule and just say, hey, can I borrow you for even these 3-4 days during the summer, or a solid week where we could work together? We can get a lot done if we both focus our time and attention on this. Encourage your parents to complete their service hours for next year during the summer before the school year begins. So if your school requires service hours, and I hope it does, I love service hours for a variety of reasons, but one of the best reasons is you can use service hours in very creative ways to make your marketing work. These parents would love to do work for you and with you, especially over the summertime. They've got a little bit more time available. They can do it from home. They can even come into the school. And the beauty is, if your school is empty and it's just you and the parent working in the office and they're doing this work there, they don't have to get their background checked. They don't have to get Vertis trained necessarily if they're not working with students. I still recommend it, of course, because they're going to be inside the school. But if they can do that work from home, if it's things like translation, graphic design, working on your website, they can get those service hours from home and never have to worry about those trainings. It's a great way to do it. A lot of schools with service hours allow parents to pay their way out at the end of the school year. It is incredible the number of parents who are paying for service hours at the end of school year. Maybe they did some of their service hours, maybe they did none of them, but they end up paying out instead of giving us service that we could have used throughout the school year. So be creative about it, think about it in advance, let them get some of it done before the school year even begins. And then you can ask your parents to research and create a list of activities around the community. This is kind of the no bad ideas phase, where we ask, what is going on? What can we do? Where can we get our name out? Please give me this list and we can all add to it. And then you can take from that list and find the places that you think would be best to deploy your resources. Let that be someone else's job. Other topics for parent ambassadors. This is a great time to start training your most skilled ambassadors to give tours and serve at information tables around summer events. Do that before the end of the school year. You don't want to be in the middle of the summer and say, oh no, we've got a farmer's market coming up. We're going to need people to sit at that table for 4 or 5 hours. We better start training someone to talk about the school. Train them now. Try to make that time now so that you can bring them in, hopefully as a group, and say, here are the kinds of things we want people to know about our school. And the next level up from someone who's working at one of those events is someone who's actually able to give tours of your school. I love when parents are able to give tours of the school, because they can answer questions for prospective parents that we can't. They can give them the full picture that we cannot give them. And it's true, and it's beautiful, and it's lovely. And that's what we should really want from our parents ultimately, is for them to take ownership of bringing people into the school family. Enlist parents to welcome incoming families and begin planning a new family event. So we've got a whole bunch of new families coming in. Every year, about 10% at least of our students are going to be brand new to the school. So how are we welcoming them? Are they just diving in? Are they coming in on the first day confused and trying to figure out what's going on? If you've done the work beforehand, they've got a great idea what's going on. One of the ways that schools handle this is classroom buddies. So you can assign classroom buddies, and they will then call those incoming parents and say, oh, you've got Miss Sullivan next year. We do too. I've already been at this school for 8 years. I've put 2 kids before, and now I've got my 3rd grader there. I'd love it if we could talk. Is there anything I can answer for you? Here's how drop-off works in the morning. Here's how lunches work. Those kinds of things are just worth their weight in gold. Those phone calls are incredible. Parents are setting up carpools and setting up play dates. It's awesome, so that on day 1, their student already feels like part of the school. You can start that now. You already know many of the people who have signed up for next year, brand new. You can get them set up with a buddy right now. And by the time they get in there next year, you're not even going to know that they weren't a student this year. They're going to feel like a natural. Summertime customer service. Customer service is always vital, and I do an entire training on customer service, but during the summer, it tends to tail off quite a bit. So we've really got to remedy that inside of our schools. The main thing is, as often as possible, the school should be open. Now, I know this is asking a lot in some places. There are places where schools are almost always closed during the summer or closed, say, during the month of July. But as often as possible, you should try to have your school open. People like to take tours. People do walk into the school and ask questions or ask for tours, and people call and email. So we want somebody to be able to respond to those sorts of things. Now, that said, ideally a staff member will be on site to welcome them, but if possible, try to stagger that vacation time. Try to stagger the staff members who are there. We don't want to tax anyone the entire summer. It is great for everyone to get a break. We need for everyone to get a break, especially after the year we've had. Everyone needs that time off. So if you can assign different staff members at different parts of the summer, that will allow you to always have someone on site as often as possible, and yet have everyone get some time to themselves. Most schools will also do abbreviated hours during the summer. So you might have limited hours such as Monday through Thursday. Every Friday, we're going to be out of the office. You might be open only from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. But try to keep those hours consistent throughout the summer. I like a Monday through Thursday, 10 to 2, because that's reliable. I have seen schools that will say, we're only Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're 9 to 4 on Monday, but we're only 10 to noon on Tuesday, and blah, blah, blah. Try to keep it consistent, and then make sure that you have updated messages about it. So your voicemail, your door sign, oh my goodness, put a sign outside of your door that says the hours that you're going to be there, just like any other business. Have that sign in the outside so that if someone walks up to your school and wants a tour, they can see a sign right there that says, hey, we're not here right now because it's after 4 p.m. But we're going to be here tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. So please come back. Have that on your voicemail, have that in your return emails. Make sure that everyone's got those out of office emails and lists those hours in there. And then tell them how you can be reached in those off hours. Leave a message. We will check it. It's not going to go unchecked the whole summer. We will check it. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. And make sure that someone is checking those voicemail and interest form submissions daily. Now, daily, also a little bit of a tough thing. This can be done offsite. Find out how your voicemail system works. A lot of them now can even forward to email so that you can check that voicemail from anywhere. But also interest form submissions. I don't believe I mentioned it in this training, but in almost every other training I do, I talk about having an interest form on your website. If you don't have an interest form on your website, I can give you one. It is so simple and so fast. It's a Google form, and it's just the way that someone requests a tour. They say, here's my name, here are my kids' names and their grades, and here's when we'd like a tour. Easy. But so many websites just have a contact the office or contact us or just a little box where you can put in text. This form makes it so much easier. And since it's a Google form, you can access it from anywhere. So make sure that that you have that form first off, and then that someone is checking that form and getting back to families as quickly as possible. Also, please update the church bulletin and website as needed. Your website especially, it's an easy place, hopefully, to edit and put up your web app, your summer hours and everything like that. A post on Facebook wouldn't hurt, a post on Instagram wouldn't hurt. Anything you can do to let people know we are here during the summertime. We're not here all the time, but here's where you can find us. So here are some of the things you can do in the early summer. So the school year has ended. Now we're getting into the early summertime. You want to call all of your current families who have not yet re-registered for next year. Hopefully there will be very few, but you've got to get them locked in as soon as possible. So again, you can forget about them and move on to new families. Call your prospective families. If they haven't locked in yet, if they're somewhere in that pipeline, let's get them nailed down. We've got to create that sense of urgency. So it doesn't hurt to tell a family, we've got people who would like to come into this classroom. I can only hold your seat for the next 2 weeks. After the end of that 2 weeks, I have to move on to the next family. It can even be the next week. But there are other people who would like to be in our school as well. So please let me know ASAP. Otherwise, we have to move on to the next family and we can't guarantee your enrollment, but keep in touch. Host your summer camps and programs, always a great way to find new families. If you already have these in place, that's a great thing to do. If you don't have it in place, don't throw something together right now, obviously. But also plan that event that I was talking about earlier for new families, even if it's just a coffee and donuts, just a morning of bagels, or just anything that your parents might enjoy, any way to get them together and have them talk to the principal, the teachers, some current parents, parent ambassadors. It's a nice way to be in the same room and to say, look around, everyone here is new. Everyone here is in the same place as you are. Everyone's coming to our school for the first time. If there's any nerves here, we want to hear about it now. If there's anything that you want to know about our school, please ask us now. They're all in the same boat and they feel so much more confident when they've had that time. You can take them on another school tour of the school. Hopefully they've already had one. You could even open up the gym. You could say, you know what, we're going to have this event for parents and students. It's going to be in the middle of the summertime. It's for new families. Come in and enjoy the open gym. Meet us, talk to us. It's going to be great. And then keep posting regularly on social media. This is simpler than ever. Facebook and Instagram make it very, very easy to schedule your posts weeks and even years in advance. You can put up a post right now for the rest of the summer, and it will pop up whenever you want it to. If you need assistance with that, let me know. The scheduling is very, very easy, but you can do all of your social media work before the summer even starts. You can just say all of these great things about the school, all the great programs that have happened this year, and all of the new things that are coming up for next year, particularly highlighting new teachers or anybody who's going to be new to the building. And consider online advertising. I can't stress this enough. Online advertising is terrific. Google AdWords is so easy to use and so inexpensive. So with the Archdiocese of Miami this year, we ran a campaign on both Instagram and Facebook and on Google Ads. Both were tremendously successful in driving new parents to the Archdiocese website and to the school finder page. However, Google Ads cost a fraction of what Instagram ads cost in order to get people to click on the website. So Google Ads, very economical. Plus, if you have a way of advertising in another language, if you have an audience, or if you have families in your area who speak a different language other than English, that is a goldmine. So we found out that we were advertising in Spanish as well as English. Our Spanish language clicks cost roughly a third of what our English language clicks cost. So we were getting English language clicks for about $1 a click, and Spanish language clicks for about 30 cents, because there just aren't as many people out there advertising to those communities, to communities that speak other languages, because there is a complexity to developing that content. So if you're able to develop that content and be welcoming, you can actually get a lot for a lot less money. So consider that online advertising, even if you spent 50 bucks on it this summer, just to find out if it works, if it drives people to your site. The tracking is so simple, you can see very easily how well this worked for you. School tours, I want to talk a little bit about that, because school tours during the summertime can be a little challenging. It's very easy during the school year when you have kids in classrooms to walk people from place to place and show them how things are going. But during the summertime, it can be very different. For example, the school where I worked, we would basically tear down the school on the inside during the summertime. So all the desks would be put away, chairs would be put up, the walls would be emptied, so that we could just deep clean the school over the summer. So here's what I recommend. Consider keeping one classroom set up. And you might stagger that classroom as well. So you might say, we're going to have first grade set up for the first half of the summer, then we're going to tear down first grade and we're going to set up eighth grade. And eighth grade can be set up for the second half of the summer. But this at least gives us one room in our school where we can take any family and just say, this gives you an idea of what it looks like here. There's our smart board up front. Here are our desks. We sit in pods, or we sit in a circle, or we do something unique. And that's how it works in all of our classrooms. We do something a little bit different here and there, but this is basically how it's going to look. Walking parents through a school that is just dead empty and all the chairs are up and everything, it's just not very impressive. So try to keep a classroom set up. If you can't, consider a slideshow. It's very easy to just take photos of your classrooms and develop it as a slideshow. That becomes a virtual tour. But you can put that up on a big screen near your office. You can put up on a screen in a classroom, anything, but have those photos available so that people can see what it's like when students are here, and it's much more lively atmosphere. Enlist parents who can assist with tours. If you can't be the one to give the tours all the time, parents are a great source for this. And I can offer tons of advice on how we should be encouraging parents to give those tours and the things that they need to say. And then take care of some of your curb appeal items during the summertime. So if there is anything about your school that is fairly simple to fix physically or visually, Any of those things can be taken care of during the summertime. The curbs need to be painted, or we need new flowers in the flower bed in front, or we want to put up some bushes or anything like that. Do some of that in the summer. It will really pay off with the parents who are coming to the school. They're very excited to see it, so make it as beautiful as it can be. Parish outreach. This is still a valuable source of students. Even though we're not getting as many students from our parishes as we used to, it is still a valuable source. And it's particularly valuable if you work it correctly, if you really work with your parish to try to enroll more families. And the biggest way to do that is still Mass presence, being present at Mass several times. The bulletin, though, is kind of that first line of defense. And I love church bulletins, but only if they are done well. And some church bulletins are not. But here's the thing that I would like to see the most. If there was a continuum, I would love to see in a church bulletin a space set aside for the school every week, where every week at Mass, people can see a bit of good news about the school. It's a little bit of work for the school, a little bit of work for the parish. But by the end of the school year, we've got all of these week after week after week of good news about the school, so that when we say, hey, you should bring your kid here, parents can look back on all those bulletins and say, oh yeah, I remember reading all of the neat things that they have. They just introduced this stream program, and they have robotics, and they have competitive video gaming. Like, that's brand new to me. But they also have all these traditional values and sports that I like, and band. I saw all that throughout the year. This is pretty interesting. If the first thing they're hearing about your school is, we want you to come to the school, that's not quite good enough. So we want to start building that relationship over the summertime. If you don't already have it, start building the expectation that the school is going to be featured in that bulletin as often as possible, ideally weekly. Announcements should also be made at Mass weekly, and that's going to take a little bit of work too. At most parishes I've been to, they rewrite those announcements every week, and it's a fresh thing. So you have to get in touch with the person who's making those announcements, and week after week, you got to remind them, could you please talk about the school again? Maybe give them a new little tidbit to talk about. Did you know that our robotics program came in second in regionals last year, even though it was our first year in existence? Excuse me, come check out St. Anonymous School today. Encourage your pastor to speak about the school regularly. So it's one thing to have it in the bulletin, another thing to have it in the announcements, but still in many communities, when the pastor says, this is a good idea, you should check it out, people listen. People still listen to the person at the front of the church saying, this is a great way to educate your kids in the faith and to bring them to a greater relationship with God, and also to give them all of the knowledge and skills that they're going to need for their futures. Come to this school. So encourage your pastor to speak about the school regularly, but give them the right advice about how to do it. Because I think that some pastors are okay with just saying, oh yeah, by the way, you can look around the audience today and you'll see in the pulpit or in the pews, some kids in school uniforms. Yeah, we're happy to have them here. It's a totally different thing when the pastor says, listen, I've been inside of that school. I've seen the things that they do. They're learning things in 5th grade that I didn't learn until 9th grade. This is the place for your kids. Have them do it during announcements. Even better if you can have them do it during the homily, if they can work it into the homily and talk about today's lesson. Today's lesson is about love and about courage. And let me give you an example of when I saw these exact values being shown inside of our school. When I was visiting, I saw this kid, and there was this kind of situation. That sort of personal story, that sort of personal reflection during the homily is much, much deeper. If you can talk your pastor into offering a Mass on behalf of the school or for the school, that is also a wonderful thing to do. Oh, I should mention too, encouraging pastors to speak about the school regularly, particularly when you have parents who are volunteering in the back of church, students who are in the pews, students who are doing announcements, anything like that. It's still important for someone to walk up to the pastor right before Mass, right before he walks up to the pulpit, and say to him, hey, by the way, today's the school day. Anything you can work into this Mass about the school, we'd really appreciate it. A pastor's job is 24 hours a day. It is an incredible task. They cannot keep all of this inside their head. So give them that reminder, even if you've emailed them, even if you've called them. If you can get someone to walk up right before Mass starts, doesn't have to be you, it can be one of your parents who attends Mass. Get them to walk up to the pastor and say, hey, by the way, just wanted to give you a quick reminder, it's a school day. Love to hear more about it. That will help you a ton. Invite alumni, parents, and students to speak at Masses throughout the summer. Having those kids give announcements is amazing. I love having parents give announcements too. I've had so many parents say, I'm terrified. I'm terrified to get up and speak in front of people. I would only do it for this school. And I'll tell them, please, please say that from the pulpit. Please walk up there. And when you're giving those announcements, please say, I'm terrified to be in front of you, but I'm here to talk about the school. And that's the only reason I would do it. That means so much. Pew cards. I love pew cards. I can create these for you very quickly and easily. Just contact me. But they're just little cards that you can have people fill out during Mass that says, I'm interested in the school. I'm interested in taking a tour. Very, very simple. They can hand them in during collection, and it's a great way to be able to reach back to people, get their contact information, and bring them into the school for a tour. Outreach to other parishes, same stuff. Are there any churches nearby without a school? You can use these same strategies there, especially if you have parents who are students at your school, but are parishioners at another school. Reach out to those other parishes, even non-Catholic parishes, even just Christian churches or mosques or synagogues. If there's not an associated school with them and they might be interested in your school, reach out. It's worth it. It's worth it to at least make the connection and try. We know we offer something amazing. We want to get it out there to as many kids as possible. Baptism outreach is another one, and this is kind of new for some places. It's been surprisingly difficult to get a hold of baptismal records from a lot of parishes. Some parishes and schools just don't have that level of connection just yet and don't have the technology to make it happen. So try to see if you can access or create a database of children who've been baptized in the last, let's say, 5 years or so. After that, you can send a letter, a card, or an email with information about your school. Even better, if there are children who have just been baptized at your parish or are baptized over the summer, they need to be getting a bib that says, future Saint Anonymous honeybee. Like that's my Saint Anonymous school mascot, but future warrior, future eagle, whatever it might be, class of 2038. Those bibs mean so much. They set this expectation from the very start. We want you to come to our school. We want you to graduate from our school, and we're happy to talk to you. But it can't just be then either. You have to continue to communicate with those families, or else this is going to feel kind of hollow. So even if we give them that bib, we want to reach out year after year. Come to our Christmas show. Come to graduation. Come and see what we're doing. Come and take a tour of the school. I know that you're still 2 years away from even being a student here, but we'd still love to show you around and make you part of the family. It's important to remember that even though we have been at the schools for a very long time and we know everything that happens there, there are so many parents coming in every year to your pre-K programs who this is their first child, and this is their first go around with any school of any sort. This is the first time they're bringing their child to a school. That is nerve-wracking. So the easier you can make it for them, the more you can kind of smooth this along the way, the more they will appreciate it and feel like, yeah, this is home. Why would I ever go anywhere else? Religious education outreach, still an opportunity if your RE program has not yet ended. And even if it has, this is still a great time to establish or strengthen your relationship with the DRE. The religious education programs have often been pitched to me by pastors or people in parishes as the low-hanging fruit. We already have families who are interested in Catholic education. They're already inside the school. Why wouldn't they want to come and be students here? Well, fortunately, it's because our programs are so good. Our religious education programs are doing such a great job that people say, I'm already paying to get my kid a religious education, and I only have to pay a few $100s. You want me to pay thousands of dollars so that they can get more of a religious education? That's a hard sell. So I'm happy that families are already using the religious education programs. We want that to continue. But we can still put this pitch out there, particularly if we have scholarship opportunities, if we have different ways that they can pay for the school fairly easily. If cost is an issue, we want to talk to them about that. But it's still a good idea to get in front of them. You may not convert many RE students into school students. Over the course of 5 years at the schools where I worked, I converted about 4 RE students into school students, and that's out of hundreds of kids in this program every year. But it is still worth that outreach. Parents are starting to realize what we offer. So it's a great idea to schedule events throughout the school year with children and children from your school and religious education children. Give them that feeling that this can be your home. It's your faith home. You're already taking RE here. Come and be part of what we do. You're going to love it. All right, so during the summer, working with parent ambassadors, continue encouraging those parent referrals. Reach out over and over again. Send those all calls. Are you referring families? Get them in here. We're starting to fill up. Begin considering who might be a great ambassador for next year. If you haven't started that parent ambassador program, talk to me. Spend some time with me over the summer. We'll get that program set up, and I'll talk to you about the ideal parents to get into your parent ambassador program. You're going to handpick them and they're going to do amazing things for you. It's a terrific way to go. But this is also when they're going to be developing that new family event. They can make prospective parent calls for you. They can assist with office tasks, all sorts of things like we talked about with the service hours. Encourage parents to share social media posts. When you're posting on social media, get parents to also share it, to comment on it, to like it, to engage with it. You want your social media to be social. It can't be a one-way street. You can't just say, we did this great thing. It's got to be, hey, what do you think about this great thing? What's your favorite thing about the school? What's your favorite thing about summertime? What are you doing for vacation? Here are some of the kids that we have right now who are on vacation all over the world. Share your photos with us. Get parents to engage with you socially so that they have that engagement with social media, so that when we get to the beginning of the school year, the information that we need to get to them very quickly and urgently, they will receive. You're at the top of their page because of the algorithm. If we have inclement weather, if we have a closure, if we have a power outage, they need to know about it fast, and Facebook and Instagram are a fast way to know it. So you want them to be used to going and engaging with you there. Ask parents to write reviews during the summertime. Here are the 5 places where we see the most reviews that really pay off: greatschools.org, greatschools.org, privateschools.org, Yelp, Facebook, and Google, specifically Google Maps. You have to go to Google Maps, look up the school, and it will show you the review right there. And that's the much easier way to find the school and review it. It's a little kind of weird, but Google Maps is the easier way. And the one thing that I would say about these reviews is, as much as we want parents to do a bunch of reviews, you don't want to do it all at once. If you say, hey, everybody, this week we're going to Facebook and we're going to leave reviews, everybody do it right now, or especially Yelp. If 50 parents on one day suddenly leave a review for a place, Yelp will know that something is up. These are not organic, and they will start deleting them. So what you want to do instead is take these 5 pages, send them out to 5 parents, 1 of each, and get a new review every week. You'll find that on most of these sites, you either have no reviews or you have 1 really bad review from about 8 years ago. You want to bury that with much better reviews. So try to get parents on that during the summertime. Community outreach during the summertime. Opportunities for exposure are all over the place, particularly if you live in a really sunny area where people are outdoors all the time. That means community events, things like farmers markets, movies in the park, street festivals, art fairs, parades, and your own parish events. It's amazing how often that gets overlooked, where schools are invited either late at the last minute or not at all to have a table at their parish events. It's just kind of a second thought. So make sure you make a big deal at those parish events as well. But for all of these, the farmers markets especially, ask if they have a discount for nonprofits or schools. I have found that most farmers markets that I've worked with schools around the country, they have a free table for schools who want to go there and advertise for their school. And if it's not free, they'll give you a deep discount because you're a nonprofit. Ask about that first. It can be worth it, particularly if you have parents your current parents who you know go to those farmers markets. If that's the case, they know other parents who are going there as well. So they're the perfect people to have sat behind that table and saying, hey, this is the information you need to get from us. But here's the thing about community events, though. You've got to be ready for it. So that means be visible, be memorable, be sincere, be active, and be prepared. Oh, I cannot stress that enough. So let's start from the top. Be visible. You want to have a banner on your table or a tablecloth. You want to make sure that people can see who you are from far enough away. So make sure that you're visible. You're using all your school colors. You're sticking to that brand as closely as you can and bringing people over to you. Be memorable. That's just having engaging parents, having people who really care about this place and can talk really well about it. Sincere. Active is a big one. You can't have parents just sit behind the table and wait for people to walk up to you. And I'll talk about that in a second. But be prepared. My goodness. Materials. Have your materials on site. Even if it's a stack of those referral cards, have them on site and just say, we're not going to give you a whole bunch of stuff that you're going to have to fill all your pockets with. 1 card, that's enough. But it cannot be a one-way street. Have that sign-up sheet, or even better, a tablet available. And on the tablet, you'll have your interest form that I can help you create. And that will just have them fill it out real quick. It's just a handful of fields and boom, you've got their information. Don't let people walk away from your table without giving you information. If you've given them a card, that card's just going in the garbage later for all we know. You have to get something back from them if you can. Engage them in that conversation and just say, hey, all we need is either your phone number or email address. We don't need both. We'll reach out to you once. If you're interested in a tour, great. If not, that's totally fine. But how to draw families to you. This is something that's often overlooked. We just sit people behind tables and hope for the best. No. Face paint, pre-COVID, this was very popular. Now, not quite as much, but even better, games. Have a reason for people to walk up to your table and for the children to spend time there for a while, to spend a few minutes. Because while that child is playing a ring toss or playing bags or playing whatever the game might be with one volunteer, the other volunteer is standing there talking to the parents. Oh, wow, where does your kid go to school? Well, we're here from St. Anonymous and we just wanted to, talk to the community. And is there anything we can answer for you? Well, let me tell you about our robotics program, our chess club, our Spanish, our math achievement, all of these great things. But make sure they have a reason to come to your table and to stand there for a few minutes. Don't just sit behind it and wait for the best. Even if you handed out pens or candy or anything, they're going to come by, grab it, and go. Give them a reason to stand there for a minute. If you have a balloon animal person, wow, that would be dynamite. Mid to late summer, start preparing for next year. And this is kind of in that marketing sense. So start securing marketing assistance. And again, this is something I can advise you on. I also have, if you have the funds for it, I have job descriptions for part-time and full-time marketers or marketer/development people. But I have those job descriptions and I can show you how and where to post them. That's all free. It's an easy thing to do. But also advice on how to get interns, how to get people to come in and volunteer with you. There are definitely ways to have people come in and work on this marketing for you, and they're going to make a huge difference. This is also your chance during the summertime to update your marketing materials and website. I'm going to talk about this again later on in the presentation towards the end, but your website is just so vital. And I think every school knows this now. You only exist one place in the world to most prospective families, and that's online. They go to your website. If they love it, they're going to come tour your school. If they don't, then that's the only place you ever existed. You existed right there. So if your website doesn't reflect the quality of your school, summertime is the time to fix it. Hopefully that doesn't mean a total restart. Hopefully that just means making some adjustments and additions, and we can do that together. Keep up with social media. The whole summer long, just keep that flow going so that people know you're there, they know what's going on. Excuse me, consider visibility. I'm amazed still at how many schools I go to and I can't find the school office. I'll drive in, there's the parish. There's maybe a sign that shows me how to get around to the side to the school, and then I'll end up parked in a staff parking lot and at the back door of the school trying to figure out how to get in. It's amazing. So think about signage. Think about someone brand new to your school. They've never been there before. How are they going to find you? So that might be with, if it's temporary, that might be banners. That might be those tall flags. Those are really inexpensive, but they're much more welcoming. When a school family comes for a tour, the worst thing is for them to not be able to find your office right away. Guide them right into it. Get that signage taken care of. And review past webinars. I've done, this is my 5th one, I believe, for the Presido project. They're all free. They're all available from Presido. They're also available on my website through my YouTube page. Go and check them out. There's a lot of great information there. If you have the time during the summer, enjoy them. It's a lot of information. A lot of them are nice to have. Some of them are need to haves, but take that time and get more information. More than anything, keep in touch. I'll be around all summer, so you can reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. And I'll talk a little bit later about how we can do that together. Now, many of you who've been on trainings with me before know about the diamond, and the diamond is your school's motto, your tagline, your catchphrase, whatever it is. It is the succinct way that we talk about our school, the condensed version of your school in one sentence. So hopefully you have one of those. But if you don't have a diamond already, the summertime is the time to define it. Spend some time figuring out what it is exactly that defines your school. Then you want to shine that diamond. And you can do that by creating brand standards, for example, making sure that your fonts, your logos, your colors are consistent across all of your publications and materials. You can assign meaning to your school colors. That's a great way to shine that diamond. Your diamond, it means so much to you. And if you have other things in your school that support that, make them mean something. And I'm actually going to give you a free resource here in a minute that's really cool. Name your school mascot. If it doesn't have a name, do a naming contest. Put it out on social media and just say, hey, by the way, somehow our Panther never had a name. What do you think we should name it? We're going to start taking votes. It's a great engaging way to get people loving your school. Revisit all of your website pages, every page of your website. Look at the diamond that we're going to put at the top of that page. And it's saying anonymous, our diamond is growing better every day, growing better every day. On every page of my website, I want to see that written at the top, and I want to see it reflected in the content below. And that's even on the tuition page. The tuition page should show how we're growing better every day. The athletics page should show how we're growing better every day. Every page should reflect back on that diamond. Your diamond is the thesis statement for your website. And the rest of your website is a thesis paper that is giving evidence for that thesis statement. So relook at every one of your pages, especially your about page. About pages are not as good as they need to be. Consider creating your online trophy case. And I'm going to show you what an online trophy case is. This is kind of a brand new concept that I came up with this year. An online trophy case is just literally that, an online version of a physical trophy case. We have these wonderful trophy cases inside of our school that have all of these trophies from the 60s, 70s, 80s. It shows you all of the athletic achievement and sometimes the academic achievement that we've had throughout the years, but we never share that online. And there are definitely ways to share it online, but there's also ways to share all of your other achievements too. So we're going to get straight A's. And what are our straight A's? Academics, athletics, arts, activities, acolytes, I'm still looking for a better name for this, and alumni. Those are 6 categories in which we can get straight A's. Those are the ways that we talk about our school and that we can show them off online. So what might be included in a trophy case for each one of these categories? Well, for academics, you could talk about your spelling bee winners or even qualifiers, kids who are on your honor roll, kids who are on other high schools honor roll, show off where they're going to college. You can have all sorts of images up there. You can have logos of high schools, logos of colleges, photos of your students winning trophies. That page will be amazing and it will show more than you could ever say if you use those images. Athletics, take pictures of your trophies. Oh my goodness, alumni love this. They go back and they say, I remember when we won that in 1997. That was huge. That was the biggest point of my elementary school career. The arts, have an online art gallery. Show off all the stuff that your kids have done, and you can keep that up there for years. Have a video of your band or your choir. Don't just say that you have one. Show it. Show what they can do. Activities, your robotics, your chess club team, any of the activities that you offer at your school, show those off on your activities page. Show photos of students doing those. Acolytes, this is where we talk about our faith. And again, still looking for a better name. Show pictures of some of the service projects you've done. Our kids are doing incredible service projects inside and outside of the schools. Those tell you more about our students than anything else could. What are they doing to make this world a better place for other people? And then alumni, list their high schools, list their colleges, valedictorians, honors, career highlights. Having an alumni page is an awesome way to show if success starts here, this is where it really leads. Mining your diamond. This is an example from St. Josephat School. I'm just going to go through this very quickly. This is how St. Josephat mines their diamond. Their diamond is enlighten, empower, excel. It's taken straight from their mission. But then they put it everywhere. It's on their overview. It's in their principals welcome. They put it up on Instagram. They've got posts about what it means to enlighten and empower. And then they created an infographic showing how they enlighten and empower and excel. This is a great way to shine your diamond. They've taken it all over their website. So you can look at St. Josephat School as an example of how to properly shine your diamond. Now, here's that free thing that I was talking about when it comes to school colors. You're going to be getting these slides later on, and you can look at this more in depth. But you can find your school colors in here. And if they have a meaning related to the Bible, that's a terrific thing. So these are the biblical associations of various colors. And here are the psychological associations of various colors. So some of the traits that you can expect from people who have these colors. So your school should have some values or traits that are associated with those colors, so that when you see black and orange or blue and gold, you think of these exact values. Everything in your school should speak back to that diamond. Now, don't do it unless you already have a diamond in place. Otherwise, you're just going to be adding more stuff, and then things start to spiral. So if you already have a list of values, like our school espouses these 10 values, line those up with those colors. And I have a whole separate training on that diamond as well, so you can talk to me about that too if you'd like to see it. I'm going to open it up now for questions. You can type those into the chat if you have anything you'd like to ask. And I'm going to go ahead and preemptively wish you a happy summer vacation. I hope it goes well. I hope you have a terrific time off. I hope you're able to recharge because you need it. We need you back at the end of the summer feeling great and ready to go. So take that time to just be you, to be yourself, and to heal and relax and be great. Now, I want to go into a handful of things about myself real quick. Some of the things that I provide, but I also wanted to mention that my services are covered by Title II funds in most places. So because I'm offering coaching on how to make your marketing better, Title II will fund that. So whatever you have left in title funds, you can use that as an investment in your school. So I would love to talk to you about that anytime, but it is a great investment, and I'm also ridiculously affordable. I'll go ahead and put that out there. I offer free consultations. Anybody on this call, please call me up. I'll give you a free half hour and we can get a lot done in half an hour. We can really get through a lot of things, but give me a shout for your free consultation. I also wanted to mention that one of my most popular services are website reviews. I do website reviews all the time for schools. And during the summer, during June, July, and August, I'm going to do 33% off. They're usually $300. I'll do it for $200. And again, you can take that out of title funds. And I can really turn your website around with you and for you. I can help you with that. It's an amazing process to go through and just a great investment of your title funds. And one last thing, I'm going to be in Dallas in July, which is going to be rather warm. So I hope you come and meet me there and we can be in the heat together, but I'm offering 2 presentations at the FACTS conference, July 11th through 14th in Dallas. I hope you'll come out and see me. I would love to see you there. And if you do, please introduce yourself. I love meeting new folks, and it's always a ton of fun for me. So again, thank you so much for your time, particularly today. I love what I do. I know you love what you do. Let's do it together. Let's make these things happen. Whatever assistance you need during the summertime, please contact me. kurtthemarketer.com, kurtthemarketer@gmail.com. I hope you have a terrific summer. Thanks again for everything you've done this school year. Have a wonderful day. Thanks very much.